Secret mental techniques. 4. At present, we usually classify only two types of feeling: the pleasant and the unpleasant. We must not forget that a thought assigned to a feeling manufactures a very powerful emotion, since it generates more thoughts and feelings. This is more emotions in a chain reaction. When we begin to define our feelings with our conscious mind, we find that they make up a whole wide range as sadness, frustration, joy, hate, love, compassion, depression, euphoria, culpability, self-deception, confidence, admiration, fascination, boredom, fun, weariness, discomfort, enthusiasm, among many others. Consequently, we must begin to differentiate them and select the thoughts that we are going to combine with these feelings and specify how these emotions will help us to achieve our goals. Another crucial question is to discover which feelings are essential components of other feelings. For example, love commonly begins with fascination, and if we add admiration to this, it turns very quickly into love. Feelings of guilt, on the other hand, they start with various types of internal or external accusations, and we are the ones who decide how much we are going to defend our innocence or succumb to our accusation. Going back to the logic of mental techniques, it is difficult to accept that love is composed of the combination of fascination and admiration. Since respect is an essential component of admiration, when you lose respect for another person, you lose admiration and consequently, you lose love. I'm sure this is going to clear up a lot of things about your past life, even if it doesn't make much sense to you. With feelings of guilt, when we're truly guilty, we have to recognize as quickly as possible the extent of our guilt. Likewise, we must make a serious commitment to ourselves to prevent these events from happening again at all costs and to turn the page, preferably without applying unnecessary punishment. We have to keep in mind that one of the main foods of our toxic spirals is our ignorance or refusal to accept our weaknesses and our lack of commitment to ourselves. We must not forget, the first step in solving a problem is to identify and accept it. And the second step is to commit to ourselves to solve it. One of the most harmful feelings we generate is self-hatred, because it is usually born of great self-disappointment, which we cannot accept, and this produces progressive losses of self-admiration. Very often, progressive losses of self-admiration generate self-frustration, since it usually takes a long time to stop or recover from the losses of self-admiration. In addition, it's very hard to wait and do anything to reverse our losses. And the consequence is that we end up producing incremental amounts of self-hatred in him, which are accompanied by all kinds of self-sabotage or self-punishment. My father used to say that he wasn't too worried about his kids losing in the game or in life. What really scared him was that they would want to recover too quickly, because that is where fatal mistakes are made. When we already have high levels of self-hatred, we feel that we do not deserve anything, and this leads us to self-sabotage in our activities. If this dynamic persists, from there we move on to deliberate self-punishment and then fall into different kinds of masochism. This does not happen overnight, and its manifestation is progressive, which leads us to falsely believe that self-hatred is not going to happen to us. However, these feelings act very sublimely and are often hidden behind other emotions. But I can assure you that one way or another, we all have feelings of self-loathing in different degrees and form. We have to prepare ourselves for when those great failures come into our lives. Because if we are caught off guard, they can keep us trapped in extremely harmful spirals for many years. If you find us ready, we can turn them around and turn them into the turbines of our future personal development. But this requires us to marry mental techniques, that we be faithful to Him, and that we maintain an unwavering determination. The saying, "Tell me who you're with and I'll tell you who you are," is very apartment. It is imperative to choose intelligently the environments in which we operate. It's also crucial to choose the people you're going to socialize with and establish to what extent. Likewise, it should be clear to you which people you are going to avoid as much as possible and who you are going to avoid at all costs. There is a Harvard study at a summer camp where there were 10 cabins with 10 children each. In every cabin there was always a leader, a clown, a thief, a nerd, an athlete, an intellectual, among others. Then they gathered the leaders of each hut into a single hut, and the same roles emerged. One became the leader, another in a clown, another in a thief, another in an intellectual, and so on. This proves the great influence it has in our context, in the development of our personalities at any age. See you in our next program. And don't forget to sign up for the Secret Mental Techniques Club. You will meet many people like you, and there will be many more surprises. Don't forget,